Natalie Melendez, and it's that 206 Sound podcast, and we're in a new studio. I know it's a little bit early in the game to change the scene here, but this podcast needs a little bit more love and a little bit more help because it is really hard to do all this by yourself. So we're at NAST Studios with Blake. And I'm just super excited to be here to not only debut the new studio, but give you guys a new interview. And honestly, the man right here doesn't really need an introduction, but if you need a refresher, Marshall Law Band. You most likely already know them or have heard about these guys. They have been on KEXP, KUOW, and the BBC. They had an episode with TEDx, Jam in the Van from California, and you may have seen them featured on a lot of local news networks, locally and nationally, like CNN and Fox News. That was when Marshall Law Band was performing for the Black Lives Matter protests in 2020. Not only performing, but you guys did a ton of community work for it. So we're here to talk to the front man to tell us a story. It's Marshall Hugh, ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
How are you doing?
I'm pumped to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you here too. So first off, you guys played the Kraken yesterday.
We did. It was absolutely epic. I think at one point I was just staring out into a sea of people, and I looked up and saw myself and the boys on the Jumbotron, and I had that moment where I'm like, oh, hey, focus up here.
Holy crap, this is me.
Exactly. I had to remember I messed up on one lyric, and I'm kind of a perfectionist, and I could tell. I was like, oh, I messed up, but I was just so caught up in the moment, and but also appreciating the moment. That was one of those, you listed a couple different accolades or whatever. That was one of the first times that mid-experience I really grounded myself and practiced gratitude. And that's something I've been working on developing in those times. So yesterday was just a special day. I can confidently say we were the only people to play Climate Pledge Arena yesterday. So that's pretty fire.
And being in the moment, it's so hard to be in the moment when we're going to get into it, but you have a lot of stuff going on. So it's especially for moments like that, it's really important to just be there and be present and not think too much. And if you mess up, no one
no one noticed. Everybody said we did a great job. It's just, I'm hard on myself because that's how you have to be if you're trying to, continue to ascend and take things to the next levels. But for me, just experiencing it and being happy about it while it was going on. And like you said, I wasn't thinking about yesterday or I wasn't thinking about tomorrow. I was thinking about right then and there. And that's how I aspire to live every moment of my life. So that's just, something to shoot for and to replicate as many times as I can.
Well, let's just get right into it. So I did a lot of research, and I'm trying to ask questions that have not already been asked, but I do want to kind of briefly go through the beginning of the band.
Totally.
So you met Metal Marty as a roommate and was it in college?
Oh, you did do your research. That's what's up. I appreciate you for that. Yes. Okay, so after he was in college, I dropped out of school.
Yeah. You went to Carnegie.
I did.
That's pretty baller.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, it's one of those places where when I got there, I realized that everybody has, in order to really do something at a high level, you have to be passionate about it. And I saw people that were passionate about coding or passionate about business or passionate about acting. And that's where their time and energy really went. And they did it with a smile on their face. They couldn't wait to go to class. I didn't really have that same passion that they had for class per se, but I found that passion in music and community.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to be passionate about going to school.
Some kids were.
I finished school, and it was, even those days, I just I don't even want to get up to go to class right now.
Well, respect to you for finishing, and
thank you.
Maybe one day I feel like I might go back, but it'll be when I want to, for sure.
Do it on your own time. It's already so much money to just do it just to get a degree that you don't even like.
Yeah.
Care about.
Who knows? In these days, I feel like there's no specific blueprint outside of being passionate and willing to work hard.
Yeah. No, I respect the grind. So did you grow up in a musical family?
A little bit. My sister is an opera singer. She's actually an author as well. But yeah, she was literally.
Yeah, I remember that. Your siblings are
Yeah, I got some super siblings.
Yeah.
I had no choice but to do something.
Yeah.
If I was just a regular person, I don't know. Thanksgivings would be horrible for me. They were already tough for a few years there when I said I wanted to be a rapper. So Yeah, my sister was the opera singer, and I always kind of grew up in athletics. So I would
Yeah.
travel with her to like Lionel Hamptons and go and see her
Oh,
perform
yeah.
at state. But it wasn't something that was really impressed upon me outside of just a love for music. My pops, he would listen to like wake us up to like James Brown, Parliament
Mm.
Funkadelic, a lot of funk and soul. And
Yeah.
then my mom was kind of more like the Eagles, and put me on like people like the Dixie Chicks and stuff. So I had like my pops giving me the soul and the funk, and my mom giving
Oh,
me like the
yeah.
folk and the rock. And then I think my first album ever was Ludacris's Chicken and Beer,
No
and I
way.
accidentally got the unedited version. And from then on, I heard some stuff. I was like, oh my lord.
Like it wakes you up. You're like,
Yeah, I'm
oh,
like,
this is
oh,
what being a man is.
this is awesome. Exactly.
Right. That's awesome. So, did you get more like when you went to Carnegie, was that when you realized what you really were sort of meant to do and not be in school?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
say so. I feel like I always kind of dabbled in like I remember like middle school. I was in freestyle battles in like the lunchroom.
Oh, cool.
And like
Like a little circle.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, that's when like 8 Mile had just kind of come
Oh.
out and stuff. So people were coming.
Yeah.
Like couldn't wait to rap in the lunchroom. And then when I went to O'Day, it was kind of a lot of the same thing. Like people just freestyling. A couple of my friends like started recording for real. And I think I hopped on like one or two tracks, but nothing that was like, oh, I'm trying to do this. My route was always like athletics.
Yeah.
And then I think senior year we made like a song for the basketball team, and I performed that song with a band.
Really?
Yeah, at an assembly.
Oh,
And,
that's
like,
so cool.
People were like, "Yo, you actually kind of ripped that, you know?" And then so that's when I kind of realized, like, oh, I do like music, it's dope, but it wasn't something even still in my head. I'm thinking more athletics,
Yeah.
and chose Carnegie Mellon because it was like the best school mixed with athletics that I could combine.
Yeah.
Kind of following my sister's blueprint. But then when I got there, I met a guy named Christian Manoli who had like older brothers that had all rapped, and he brought a microphone, like a USB microphone, to school. One day after like freestyling a party, he's like, "Oh, you're pretty good. Like you should get on like an actual song." And I wrote my first song, and then it was over from then. That's just all I
Really?
did every single day. I used to sneak into his room. He's my housemate. Grab his mic, you know,
Oh, I love that.
go rap all night and stuff.
Oh, yeah. It's like you get the bug and you can't stop.
As soon as I got it, I haven't stopped since.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, when you left school, was that when you met Metal Marty? Because you lived. Sound like a creep. You lived
You
on
really
U
know your
District.
stuff. I love this.
Thank you.
You know the address.
I worked really hard.
18th and 45th.
I don't know the address. I'm not that crazy.
I'm like,
but,
holy, okay.
but yeah, so
Well,
you
make sure I leave before you. No, I'm just messing with you.
So that's where you met Metal Marty.
Yeah.
How did you not know he played sax for a whole year? That was really surprising to me, especially a saxophone. That's not something you can hide.
And that's why he'll claim that he told me and that he played the sax in that situation. Either I was so into my like own stuff that I just didn't notice, or he didn't really play that much. Like, and that's the thing. When I first came back from school, I felt like I was really emulating other rap like figures and what I thought was rap. So like, for example, when I had like one of my first shows, I remember some guy hired me to like, not hired me, gave me tickets to sell for his stuff and would give me a percentage of the tickets.
Sick.
Levi Lyon, who's like a music guy that I bet you a lot of music people might know, and I bring that
Shout out
name
Levi.
up. Shout out my boy Levi. Gave me my first show, came to UW, and
That's
gave me
awesome.
the tickets, and we were like on like a boat party. And so like when I pulled up, I was like, oh, I got to pull up with an entourage, you know? I pulled up like 6, 7 deep, and Marty was like part of the crew. So I know like he was a part and around for everything that we did musically. And we kind of just kicked and hung out as friends during that time.
Yeah.
And I just never heard him play the sax, or I don't know what the situation was. And then once I moved out, he hit me up like, yo, you should come jam with my band. And that's when I met the boys, everybody except for Matt. Matt was like out about a year later.
Yeah.
And we've been rocking ever since.
So that's how you met like everybody else. That was like my next
I
question.
literally went straight.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, wow.
Kind of just fell into it a little
Yeah,
bit.
I got there and I met Josh, Evan, Mercy. I had already met Marty, and then we jammed at this bar called Dante's for like 2 hours. And that was like my first time since rocking with the band in high school that I'd ever performed like my raps with a band, and we freestyled for like 2 hours, and it was just a great time. It was just such a great time.
That's dope.
Been bros ever since.
That's good.
Yeah.
There's so many cool like venues in Seattle that you can perform at. Like there's even some I know like in Portland. There's this one place called the Big. I think it's not the Big Lebowski, not the movie, but it's this.
I think
place,
it is called the
Big
Lebowski.
Lebowski or something.
Oh yeah, it's the Legrowski.
Where it's like everybody can just come and just jam. Yeah, and I'm like that's so cool.
I've been there before.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's pretty tight.
I'm like that type of dude. Where like any city I go to, like it drives people that like in my family or like around me crazy because I'll like sneaky like Google like open jam in Portland on Tuesday.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
like,
awesome.
Oh, the Legrowski, I'm there. You know?
Oh, that's dope.
I'll be like, let's go there. And then people pop up. They're like, dude, is this a jam? I'm like, I got you.
Like, I don't know. I'm like, I guess we just walked in on it. That's crazy.
I should get on the mic, huh?
That's awesome. So you all like getting into the music a little bit. It's just the one word I feel like I can describe Marshall Law Band's music is very eclectic, meaning that it like spans across tons of different genres. So you came from not only a soul background but a rock background. I did too. My mom did the same thing.
Yeah.
What background did everybody else kind of come from?
Wow. So I mean, I think it reflects the eclectic sound that you hear. So I think Marty and Josh, so sax and guitar, I think they would like qualify themselves as metalheads. Like, okay. Maybe that's potentially their first love. Yeah. And I think that Evan would like dabble in that. And then Mercy's like probably folk singer songwriter Americana, and then Matt is like all over. This guy's playlist is just immaculate and spans all genres. Yeah. So I know that those four all like did like band in high school. All five of them. They did band in high school, jazz band. So they started off like reading music, learning music that way. But they listen to all types of stuff. You know, Mercy and Josh are also producers in their own right. They make hip hop. They make all types of stuff. Produce for Kevy, who I know you've had on like, podcasting and stuff before. So it's really spans everywhere. But jazz and metal, I think, are the first two like roots of a lot of the musicians in my band journeys.
That's just crazy to think, like, because it is, if they're from a metal or if they really like metal. And Marshall Law Band, I feel like, is so, like, opposite of that.
Yeah, definitely. And they kind of taught me, like, metal might come off aggressive, but some of the, like, messaging is similar. Oh, yeah. And, like, kind of a funny thing is, I never really used to listen to metal, and then I went on tour with the boys for the first time, and anytime whoever drives gets to pick their music. Yeah. And Marty, a lot of times he'll drive through the night, because at that time he was, like, I think the only one that was, like, consistently, like, the sober guy, so he's like, I'll take the night shift, you know, so make it easier for people. Yeah. And he would throw on, like, metal. And that thing was like a lullaby. As soon as the metal went on, like 10 minutes later, all of us just
really? No, really?
Yeah, knocked out. Yeah, exactly. I'd wake up to like.
It's a good way to wake up.
Oh, okay. Let's get the. How long has it been? 5 hours?
You don't need coffee for that.
Yeah. Well, I just started my coffee journey.
Yeah. So. At 31, I don't drink coffee still.
Blake, man, hooked it up with the Mickey Mouse cap.
Turn it around. You got to show the front.
Look at this man.
Look, that's
like,
so
you can
cute.
have my coffee. I'm like, thank you, bro. You're a good dude, man.
So, your most recent single, Can't Cheat the Heems.
Yeah.
It's a person. It could be a place.
Hey.
A thing. A noun, a verb.
Adverb.
But how did that come up? Because you've been saying that for like a couple years.
Heems, I don't know how it came up. I feel like us as a group, and like anytime you're with your close friends, you all know like you kind of like speak your own language. Yeah. And I think that's just something that like, I maybe was like, hey, can you pass me the Heem or whatever? And then somebody was like, and did it. And then they're like, wait, why did I know to do that? And I was like, the Heem is in us.
It could be anything.
Yeah, and it just started like that and has expanded. And there's a lot of things like you kick it with the squad. People be like, I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Yeah,
I love that. That's like when you have like a good friendship is when you guys are speaking a different language.
Totally. Yeah, I can just like look and say like Heems team and people be like,
exactly, bro.
Yeah.
Got you.
On 3, yeah.
So what does that mean to you though, or does it really just mean like anything?
It's kind of any and everything, an all-encompassing thing for surely. Yesterday, it meant working out and playing on a jumbotron.
Before we continue, can you turn around and show us
Absolutely.
Look at what this barber did to him.
That's my
Isn't that so sick?
He went crazy.
You need to, we'll have to link his information.
We gotta hook my bro up.
How long did that take?
It took like an hour and like 15 minutes or 30 minutes or something. He's my bro.
You just went in and you were like, give me the Kraken.
Pretty much. I hit bro like I don't know, a week before or something. I'm like, hey, I'm playing the Kraken. Like, do you have some time? And he's like, yeah, pull up.
Oh, yeah. Don't cheat the Heems.
Oh, yeah. I got
I didn't even see that.
This is the Bloodworks Northwest collab that we did.
Oh, hell yeah.
And the homie that's doing a Mojam documentary, he actually took one of them and tie-dyed it and gave it. So I thought it'd be kind of tight to rock. But, yeah, I mean, it's cool. Like, somebody like Bloodworks Northwest.
Yeah, that's a pretty...
me, got a shirt that says Heems on it.
How did you do that collab?
Shoot. I think they just seen what we got going on, and they reached out. They're like, yo, we need, like, a charismatic spokesperson to, like, really champion this cause. And once I, like, really got to know the organization, I'm like, this is a no-brainer. This is something that I'm super passionate about as well. It's something that goes hand in hand with what my mission statement as, like, a person and a band is to try to help and heal the community through music and through things like Bloodworks Northwest. So once they reached out and we did our first collab, then we just all hit it off together. The team is just like so supportive of what we do, and they really enjoy the work that I do with them. So, probably work for them about 4 or 5 times a year, creating content and doing
really
different drives.
Work.
And they blow up anytime I hit my 56-day mark and I haven't given blood. They're on me.
Really?
Yeah, man. Bloodworks Northwest calls me more than my mom.
Really?
Yeah, real talk.
So do you give blood like regularly throughout the year?
Hey, once you give blood, once you get in their system, you're gonna give blood because they on you.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I've ever given blood actually.
Well, we can change that.
I need to change that.
Yeah, it's not. It's really not bad.
I'm not nervous or anything. I just literally haven't. I just haven't.
I mean, I'm gonna give you the spiel. Hey, look here. We are in dire need of blood. Okay, we need 1,000 donors per day to even match demand. So please, if you're able, give blood. It's something that can save people's lives. And if we do it consistently as a community, we have a healthier community. So, boom, that's the PSA. Bloodworks Northwest.
That was amazing. You're just like spitting like the nicest things. It's just awesome.
Yeah, it's just it's what I always wanted to be able to do, is use my platform to influence people positively. And I feel like especially in Seattle when it's like raining for like 3-4 days, it's kind of easy to get, in your shell. So you have to intentionally associate yourself with things that are positive and going to keep you in that frequency, because it's easy to slip down low.
Oh, yeah. I've had that too, where it's like, it gets dark at 4 p.m. We're lacking vitamin D. Like, it's a real thing. So just doing things that make you feel good and then make others feel good, I think, gives it a little sunshine.
Yeah.
In this sunshineless state.
Totally.
So you are a coach. Is that like your full-time job?
No. Like, music is definitely like priority.
Yeah.
And so I've been blessed to be in a situation where I'm coaching for my old high school coach at Jackson High.
You're the assistant coach.
Yeah, exactly. Dang, okay. You got the scouting report of the team and stuff too?
Yeah, I did a lot of work.
Oh my
I put a lot of work for this.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Yeah, no, as a musician, you do a lot of interviews, and to have somebody as passionate about what they're doing and having it reflect in the research is very refreshing, and I appreciate you for that. For real.
Thank you. That really means a lot.
No, that's dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm a coach, and my old coach, he's just like even yesterday, they changed every Coach Bill, who's another assistant. He has great tickets for the Kraken, and when they found out I was playing, he hit up some of his guys and was able to change the coach's night out to go to the Kraken game so that they could come and see see me play. So Coach Johnson, he's like, Marsh, we got a home for you here whenever you can make it, but I want you to go and chase your dreams. And so it's just another thing that during the winter, as you mentioned, you got to have positive outlets, and coaching adds a lot of structure into my life.
Yeah.
And I know that 6 days a week I got practice or I got a game, and it puts me in a positive environment, and I get to pass off one of my passions onto the next generation, which is another passion of mine. So yeah, coaching just fuels me. Basketball has always fueled me, and being in it makes me a more disciplined and enthusiastic and positive person.
You learn a lot of valuable skills through being coached or coaching too. You can learn from the younger ones.
I'm trying a new tactic this year.
Okay. Can we hear about it?
Yeah. So I feel like in every coach and every basketball player gets to this point. I feel like it's been just accelerated because of social media. You get to a point where you're just like, well, back in my day, this is how I was coached.
They don't want to adapt.
You know, like I was coached hard. I was yelled at. I was told to do this. I was, you know, berated for my play if it wasn't. And now I just, right before I'm like about to yell, I hit a little woo-saw.
That's good. Yeah.
And I try to stay calm, and I try not to raise my voice at all. And I've been really just trying to show through film. So I've been taking the film of the games and like splicing in memes and stuff to try to like keep it lighthearted for the kids. And I'm just trying a different approach. So we'll see how it goes and how long it lasts. Because that's definitely not the way I was coached.
Yeah. No, I feel that for sure.
But it's a new generation now, and I feel like the kids, they know what they want and how they want to be treated, and they're standing up for themselves, and they are this next generation is going to take us, I feel like, out of a two-party system and into a future that we can be proud of.
I agree. I think Gen Z and Gen Alpha, I think is the one.
That's
after
the new one they got going on?
It's the brand new one that dropped.
It just dropped. Like the iPhone. The Alpha G? Oh my God. Shout out the Alpha G. That's fire.
I always have said this, where I really think Gen Z and Alpha, they're really going to be the ones to change shit. Like the millennials, I'm like at the very tail end of millennial. We're the ones to recognize when things have gone wrong, and it's shown within history. And I feel like now they're the ones to really be like, no, we're not gonna put up with it
they'll
anymore.
Put their foot down.
Yeah, they do, because I think millennials, we're always told to just kind of like be nice, kind of suck it up, take it on the chin. And now they're like, hell no, screw that. I'm like, I love that.
I'm proud of them. So instead of me trying to fight that, or like in this particular sense, because you know it's easy to do it in maybe something that you're less like passionate about, or like you're like, all right, yeah, go do your thing. Like something like basketball is like you feel like there's a right way to do things, but there's not. There's not a right way to do things. And I feel like a lot of players, whether it be like Steph Curry or these new generation of players that come in, that like you would have said, oh, that's not the right way to do it, but they're proving that shooting threes is an effective way and can win you championships. So just because it wasn't the right way during my time growing, that doesn't mean that it's not the right time for these kids, and I don't want to force them into any sort of box. So yeah, that's been my new coaching technique.
That's a great way to really think about it. You
Yeah,
know? Some people don't work well being yelled at. I know I don't.
Yeah.
I was like put in basketball when I was a kid because my parents were like, just get in to do something.
Yeah.
I'd be like, why are they yelling at me? I'm sorry, I'm not that good.
It's hard. It's hard not to, man, when people don't box out. I tell you what, when people don't rebound, that is, especially on a free throw. But I digress. I got a game later on, so.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, hey, you're a busy man today.
It's how I like to be in the stream.
Me too.
Going.
So I missed a question for the music, so I'm gonna backtrack just for like a second. So you haven't really released like a full, back to martial law band, a full like album or a piece of work besides the single in like about 2-3 years.
Yeah. The last like body of work was 12th and Pine that we dropped. Yeah.
Yeah. Incredible album, by the way.
Thank you.
We don't need to get into it because I feel like
everything
has been said.
Exactly. It's like
that's like a whole different episode type of thing.
You can feel it's not on my shoulders anymore.
No, I know. That's why I don't even want to like put it on you. But what is next for the band?
So I think like in that same vein, like I was writing some new music when I go back and forth to LA, and that's when I write a lot of my music.
Okay.
And
do you have family over there?
My girlfriend lives down there.
Okay.
So yeah, she's down there, so I'll try to be there as much as I can.
What part of Cali?
I'm in Echo Park, LA.
Okay.
Which is fire.
That is
so I'm
really
right there
tight.
in the mix. It's really cool. A lot of my neighbors all speak Spanish and stuff. And
do
just
you
like
speak Spanish?
I'm getting there.
Oh.
I'm getting there. I'm not nearly as nice as I want to be, but being around in that environment inspires you to like, all right, give it a try. And I took it in high school and I took it in college, so I have like some background.
You have the good foundation.
Yeah, but I really need to like just lock in and talk it for like a week, and I feel like I'd get up there. And my sister is like actually dating a dude whose like whole family is Cuban, so I'm like,
great way to learn.
Yeah. At one point maybe I'll go and meet them all. But what was I talking about?
So no, you're telling it weird.
Music.
Yeah, like what's next?
Oh yeah,
because like you did like Cheat the Heems in 12th and Pine.
Yeah.
Is it Pine or Pine?
Pine.
Pine. That's such a credible work of art. Also, really cool that you guys were under consideration for frickin' Pulitzer.
Yeah,
that's
Pulitzer.
That's. I just don't even know what to say. I don't have the words for it. But you go up from such a heavy project, and it seems now you're kind of. What is like the goal? Like what is like the next step? Like,
Word. So yeah, like I think I remember. So basically when I go down, I write a lot in LA.
Right.
And I'll have time that's like she'll work nights, and like I'll have the whole just area to myself, and I'll have like a fresh beat from the band that we all came together to cook, and then it's just like taking a piece of my soul and just like putting it on a record. And so that's just a heavy experience. I feel like my songs with Marshall Law Band specifically are like little horcruxes, like little like pieces that are like, yo, this is my being. And so that process is really heavy. And a lot of times the music is just like reflects the depths of what I'm going through and what collectively I feel like is the ethos and the zeitgeist of the current time. And so, you know, we dropped 12th and Pine, we dropped Better, which was kind of like, okay, hey, like this was an intense project. We're seeing the world kind of come out of the pandemic and our souls rising a bit. That's what Better represented. Then Can't Cheat the Heems is like a reflection of like, okay, things got better, but some of those issues still exist. And here are those issues to me that I'm experiencing. And here's how they reflect like in my city, you know, and kind of a little bit of a Northwest representation of the next phase of things. Our next tracks are aimed at being something, because we've traveled the world now, you know, to be more of an international synopsis of what we feel is the ethos of what's going on. And so we have a song, Double Down, and we just shot it with Justin Frick that kind of explains our mentality for touring and our mentality for being musicians and our mentality for chasing goals and having to do it with your backs against the wall or when everybody loves you, or, you know, you've been through a couple different iterations now to where, you know, like one day you're going to be this, one day you're going to be that, one day you're going to be on the Jumbotron, the next day you're going to be at J&M Cafe. It's just how it goes, you know?
Yeah.
And so I'm now just looking forward to consistently dropping new music. We got it all pretty much recorded, and now it's just deciding how we want to release it.
That's so
and getting
exciting.
The funding behind it and having it line up with whether it be Bloodworks or there's a song on there called Swerve that talks about an experience of one of my friends passing from drunk driving. And we got an artist on there named Coaster who had an experience.
Oh, shut up. I love Coaster.
Yeah. And
oh
so
my
you might know his story.
Yeah.
And so he was the perfect one to kind of get into this realm, into this headspace. And then we're teaming up with this nonprofit organization called Think Twice, which does mobile breathalyzers and just
super cool work.
You know, and so it's like we're trying to craft our songs to be more than just songs, because so much of our life is poured into them. We want it to be an experience. So, you know, I feel like the music we make is timeless. I feel like the music we make is something that needs to just be put out the right way and put out intentionally. And I think it'll impact the people it needs to impact when it will impact the people. So 2024, definitely want to drop an album if that's what it is. Or if not, we got 10 plus songs to just trickle out and give to people and see how they respond.
That's dope. Well, you have to come back here so we can talk about the album. That'd be sick.
Hey, after the way you do your research, I'm super down.
Thank you.
Bringing more songs out of me.
Yeah, I mean, the last thing I'll say about the music, because I just wasn't, it just is so beautiful. Like the instrumentation, like you got a really good band, but then also the lyrics and the message. To me, it's more poetry than anything. Yeah. You know, but at the end of the day, it's cool because, like, when I first was, like, listening, it's, like, gave me, and I'm sure you've heard this very much, like, Rage Against the Machine, but less, like, in your face. And we're, like, beautiful, you know? And it's really cool you guys have been able to really mesh such a new sound.
I appreciate that.
And I really respect that.
Thank you.
A lot.
Yeah, I think it's of our own, and we call it, like, a secular sermon, you know, where it's something that's supposed to, like, intentionally give you that feeling that like spirituality gives people, whatever their spirituality like methods are. It's like listen to it, hear it, and it's like nutrients for your soul. And that's what I feel like, again, you know, it's not something that is on a timetable because it's something intentionally made with nutrients. And a lot of the spin cycle of what's going on, I mean, I'm not sure what a lot of people are even talking about when I listen to the song.
Well, yeah, because it's your music.
Yeah. You know, well, I was saying, like, when I listen to a lot of modern day music.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure what the message is.
I have a hard time deciphering it too.
I'm not sure what they're really trying to say.
Yeah.
And I think that the songs that we put out and we make, like, people can listen to it and be like, oh, this is what they're trying to say. And I think so that each piece is kind of like a little paper or dissertation type stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super tight.
Thank
I'm
you.
super excited to hear the new stuff, and I'm sure a bunch of people are too.
It's for the people
because you guys
that
really made like an impact like 2020, 2021, and it'll be cool to see you make an impact on your own time.
Yeah.
Not because it just was such a somber and sad time where people really needed a voice.
Off top.
You know, you can really do it from your own
timing.
So it's really exciting.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see
Thank you.
See how it comes out.
Yeah, I'm pumped for it myself.
Yeah. So I feel like with your coaching, to bring it back a little bit, do you think that prepared you for the BLM protests and kind of what your message is now?
Yeah. I think sports in general really prepared me for just being in an intense environment and being able to keep a level head and direct traffic, if you will, during those intense moments. I also think just like my upbringing and my pop side of the family, they're part of the US movement in South Central Los Angeles. Yeah. So I grew up like knowing that I had revolutionaries in my family. Like literally tomorrow I'm flying down to Heems' 80th birthday party. He's the elder in our family.
Oh, that's
And,
dope.
you know, he tells me wild stories about when the Watts riots popped off and how him and his the US organization were like actively a part of forming the first black student unions all up and down the West Coast. And so this is something that was a part was and continued to always will be a part of my like DNA. And even growing up, I mean, I was always the person like apocalypse now, you know what I mean? Like with the Malcolm X book, like screaming it, you know, like I was always that person. My friends were like, bro, why don't you go get a soapbox or something? You know what I mean? Like just go scream in the street. And I did.
Yeah, you did. Did you feel a little bit of pressure coming from that background to really prove?
Yeah, I mean, what was kind of wild were a lot of people like that know me, went to high school or O'Day with me and stuff. They called me and they're like, bro, Marshall, we like need you to say something right now, you know? And that I did feel a lot of pressure. And I know
that's a lot of pressure for anybody.
Yeah, I know Matt felt the same way. And so me and Matt like called each other, you know, being the two like brothers in the band. We're like, dang, what are we gonna do? And so we like went out to the protest, like, bro, this isn't really our flavor. I can see some people's flavor, and that's how some people like are able to sustain this. But like, what are we gonna do? We're like, we need to do what it is that we do. But yeah, it was when somebody that you love and respect, like multiple people call you and tell you like, hey, bro, like I personally could really use you as a figure out here. Then it's just time to step up, and you kind of have to. And I feel like even now I learned a lot from that experience, and I'm going to continue to lead in new ways and be even more prepared for moments like that to come.
Yeah, no, it's so weird watching videos of you guys performing. I do remember, I don't know if it was Fox or CNN. What did they call you?
Oh, shoot. What did they call me, man? They called me Chaz Marshall.
Yeah, something like that. And I was like...
yeah, Chaz Marshall of Antifa.
I remember that. And I'm like, come on.
They thought I was like a Marshall. And like, bro,
which is
my
so
name was
weird.
Marshall. That
and it's
was
like they just...
crazy.
We don't have to get into it. But I just remember like... on TV, it looked so terrifying. I'm like, oh my God. But then I did actually end up going to a protest. And I'm pretty sure I heard you guys playing in the background. Because I remember there being a band. But I was where the police were.
Yeah.
Just standing off.
Totally.
And I was like, it wasn't really...
Yeah.
It just seemed like... It just seemed really... It was not what I expected. And that's because I think a lot of people just make protests into something scarier than, and they forget the message of why they're all there.
Yeah, and I think Seattle is also kind of uniquely equipped for protests. Like, even if you go back to like our history of being a protest city, a lot of people that were at those protests understand that it's not, yes, you kind of have the standoff section, but there's so many ancillary and moving parts that go into a protest that our community is able to like transform like Voltron and create some like structure around a protest. And that's what leads to more sustainability, I feel like, in our area versus potentially others. And so like Seattle is like a unique powder cake for a protest to last longer than a day or two. You know, so you saw a lot of people, whether it be the food getting out there quickly, the saline being there for everybody, the bike brigade going around, the medics, the different leaders, different organizations, the behind the scenes communication. It all kind of happened so quickly, and there's a lot of key people that step up and a lot of organizations that step up. And again, I feel like it was a learning experience, and
for everybody.
Yeah.
Like for me, I mean,
because imagine you go to your next protest now, and you're gonna know what to expect.
Yeah, and it was like that was like my first time going, and also I had a lot to learn during that time.
Yeah,
as well as a lot of white people. I'm mixed. I'm Puerto Rican, so I learned a lot from my dad.
Yeah,
but seeing it still happen today, it was. Again, we don't have to get into all of it, but I just wanted. It was a really cool environment, and I just think it was funny that the international news pointed to it that way, but also I'd be like, yeah, they're fucking talking about me.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot of that because it was just so intense in the moment.
Yeah, you can't even think about that stuff or appreciate it.
Yeah, there's violence around you and stuff, and it's a dangerous situation. So like I was really just packing up gear, going home, sleeping on the band's couch, waking up and doing it all over again. So that was kind of the album time. As soon as the protests were kind of finished, we went directly to Whidbey Island, and that was the time where we reflected on it and wrote songs like Real News and stuff like, whoa, that's how this happened, and that's how we processed it. In the moment, I feel like I was just so in the moment that it wasn't even something I was even looking at. But now it's created a different level of intensity that I know if those moments come around again, that it can escalate to national media, international media like this.
Yeah.
So I need to have everything prepared prior towards even going into those moments, my mental, my physical health, and direction and a plan prior towards even associating myself with being in the situation. And I think that will create bigger and more sustainable results. Even though I'm very proud of what the protest community did during that time, I know that if we had been even more organized and even more united and more willing to project a unified mission, that the results could have even surpassed, a participatory budget, which is an awesome thing.
Yeah.
So dope, something we didn't have before. But I know that moment may come again here or may come again somewhere internationally. And when that moment comes, myself will be ready to participate at an even more impactful level.
Yeah, because you're taking what you learned from the first time around.
Yeah, totally.
It's a big role that you guys did. So I just really respect the hell out of you guys.
Thanks.
Completely.
That's love. I appreciate it.
So with coaching, or not with coaching, well, I guess taking it back to coaching a little bit, because there's so much.
Season. I'll talk about coaching.
Yeah, because it just really seems like you guys really, it's more than just a band to me. It's like a community, and you guys really help people. And when did like that shift happen? Did you guys kind of start as a band being like, okay, we're gonna go and like help the people? Like that was.
Yeah, so like I know for me, when I left school, I was like, I remember telling people and telling myself, like, I want to use music as a tool to start a grassroots movement that can change the world. I was literally telling people like that.
Yeah.
They're looking at me like, bro, you are crazy. I'm like, yeah, I am.
But you gotta have that belief in yourself.
Yeah, I really am, and so that was always the goal and the intention. And then what ended up happening is we were trying to just do it with our music. Our music had always been very, like community rooted and talking about larger themes of change. And when we first got into the scene, it was just hard to get gigs. It was hard to play the gigs that you wanted to play. It was hard to get, on the bills that you want to get on. And so what we did is like, all right, what if we create the type of event that we want to be a part of? Let's get vendors, let's get poetry, let's get fashion involved. Like, let's create something that we would want to go to, and then we'll play our music at those shows. And so that's when we created this thing called Culture Fest, and we rocked that. It was at Beacon Hill, Dozer's Warehouse, like this warehouse full of graffiti. Shout out my boy Crick, man, he did that. And we, encompassed all these different mediums, and then we played the show there, and everyone's like, yo, how'd you get that gig? Well, we had to make the opportunity. And through that, it started building community. And then same thing when we launched our first EP, Nostro's Hero's Journey, we did a play, hip opera with it. And so, like, we had Scarlet Park, we had LaFonda Sisters, we had King Young Blood in there,
That's
Chris
so
King
cool.
was in there, Nobi was in there, Rashid, and we had like 20 different people from the scene come and help us act out this EP and have their own specific parts and their lines. And, that was how we presented that piece of our soul to the world. And so it's always been this collaborative thing. And then the Emerald City Gala was another idea of ours that we brought to life, because we're like, yo, not only is there not a lot of opportunities to dress up and look fly, and like when you dress up and you go to the nines, it brings a different energy out of you, and we don't get to do it often.
You
here
look
in
good,
Seattle.
you feel good.
Exactly.
It's
look
very
good,
true
feel
saying.
good, play good,
Yeah.
And on top of it, we were able to use that platform to gather donations and then go out on Christmas Day and feed 700 people as a result of us doing our music. It contributes to this huge thing that brings joy to people who need it most on Christmas Day. It's only one day, but it's something that's impactful, and that's what we want to do our music with. And then I think Fremont Fridays kind of is in that same vein, and now our nonprofit Music for Everybody is going to just expand that work and allow us to do it even more consistently and more detailed. So it's always been a theme, and I think it's who we are as people, as a band too. Like, we all have communities around us, and we love our friends, and we love the people that we love, and we all try to like uplift the next person. That's a common theme amongst everybody in the band. They're that type of person.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So it's great that you mentioned Music for Everybody, because that was a great segue.
Hey, I got you.
So Music for Everybody is a nonprofit you guys launched, wasn't it like this past couple days?
Yeah.
You guys made it official?
Last Tuesday.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Congrats.
Thank you.
And I have the mission statement here, but one thing that really stood out to me, and honestly, it shouldn't have stood out to me as much as it did, because I've experienced this too, because I do music, and it's expensive, and it's really hard to find connects. It's hard to even get in the industry because you just don't know where to start. But apparently, studies show that 4.5 million young people in the United States would like to learn or play a musical instrument or be involved within the industry, but they don't have access or the resources to. So how are you going to change that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of it is our natural gifts. So somebody like Josh, Evan, Mercy, and then Marty also works with kids. I'm a coach as well.
Yeah.
They already teach music, so they have the knowledge and the skill set to do it.
Okay.
What we're going to be able to do with Music for Everybody is bring those resources directly either into schools or into after-school programs, and allow free services for students to come and get access to it. Because I feel like the biggest barrier is the financial barrier. And like, kind of like baseball or these other sports that cost a lot of money to play, just music is that same way. You got to buy the equipment. You have to do that. So if we can provide a service where you eliminate the financial barriers, and now those kids are going to be able to come and be a part of what we do. So that's a big goal of ours. We also want to, team up with nonprofits that are doing similar things as we learn and develop. So like GZ Radio, which is a youth-led radio station here in Seattle, they're going to team up with us for Fremont Fridays to bring an all-ages stage. And so it's just going to be something,
really cool.
It's just going to be something that provides opportunities and breaks that financial barrier that's there.
I think that's really important, because that's honestly one of my goals, is to really, I feel like a lot of schools, their music and arts department aren't as funded as sports. It's just not.
Yeah.
At least my high school, like, it was very like sports and music was kind of just like off to the side. And I mean, I'm so glad that we had the resources to do that, because I mean, it kept me out of a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And having those hobbies keep kids out of a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
And it sucks when there's not a lot of funding that goes to it. So are you guys going to create like a space, or are you guys kind of mainly trying to go into the classrooms?
Yeah, I mean, I think that what we've experienced with our band is that like you start here and then 5 years later it's this massive vision. So when I create, I try not to put any limitations onto it. So I would love to have a space. That is something that I would not turn down if that's what the world had in store. I think it's about at first just starting to develop these programs and being consistent with them, and watch how that consistency grows. And when you see something that looks like it can be expanded upon, not being afraid to take action in that way. But like right now, it's not like we're actively looking for a space. But I mean, Matt already has like a studio in his house. Like, boom, that's a space right there that we could offer studio time for to people who need it. And so as it comes, we're just going to expand and take it as far as we can and help as many people as possible.
Yeah, you got to be consistent with it. It's hard when you make big goals, and sometimes it can be a little daunting to even start.
Exactly.
But what are the steps to make a nonprofit? Like, do you have to like apply?
Yeah.
Like, I really don't know.
Yeah, it is. I mean, shout out Mira Kraft, our manager. You know, she's someone,
love her.
Yeah, she's someone that was like, yo, like, I can do this. And because Matt has been talking about our drummer, the hospitality, he's been talking about like, yo, we need a nonprofit. Like, I'm telling you, I've had this vision for like 5 years. We got to make it happen. And so this was really his like brainchild. And I think that the rest of the band and Mira spearheading it, we got around it. And we're like, you know what? Yeah, this is great. And so to see it come to like, even yesterday, we went to BCU, shout out BCU, and we got like our bank account set up for the nonprofit.
Oh, that's so cool.
You know, got the card
awesome.
with it that says like, you know, music for everybody. And so, yeah, there's an application process.
Yeah.
You have to create bylaws. It's very similar to starting a business, but with some specific nuances to starting a nonprofit that somebody with knowledge in that realm, you should definitely help guide you. Yeah. So I had a lot of help from Mira, had help from my man Justin from Think Twice as well.
Yeah.
And, you know, you got to get like attorneys to look over it, and you got to do it right. You got to you got to invest time, money, power into it. And yeah, when we got it in the mail, it was tight.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. I'm super excited because that's something I'm really passionate about. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really important because I just see a lot of kids where, like at my high school, it was so academics and sports focused that if you wanted to do any arts, you could, but it was almost like what's the point? Like, you're not really investing in your future, but you can do it with the passion and the drive and the right resources.
Absolutely.
Anyone can do it.
Really. Everybody. It's for everybody.
Music is for everybody.
It's really for everybody, you know? So it's really one of these things where we want to be youth focused because that is the next generation, and you kind of feel like if you pour energy into them, then they have the most time to make an impact with it. Yeah. But we also don't want to forget about people that are later on in their life, and that's another thing that we want to put a high focus on is, you know, getting to the elderly, getting to those communities so that we can bring the gift and the joy of music for a lifetime and that whole scale of people. And so that's another big focus. We want to try to like safely and intelligently get into these like old folks' homes and get a part of their calendar so that they can experience music and do it gracefully at their age and intelligently. You know, everybody likes music. So that's a key component of it too, is to look at it. I like our music. We try to get people from like age 5. I used to say age 95, but Marty's great grandma was like, I'm 97. And I was like, so
I count?
Yeah. So I was like, all right, from age 5 to 105, you know, we want everybody to be able to process and enjoy our music. And that's the same goal with Music for Everybody as a nonprofit, is to be able to use it to uplift all people, especially people on these sides of the young and old spectrum, so that they can, you know, I feel like a lot of times elderly people are like forgotten about.
Oh yeah, and I mean, like when you're out of school too, I feel like less opportunities become available to you for free at least.
Yeah.
So again, like I feel like even when you're an adult, you have to have a passion outside of your 9 to 5.
Totally.
For me, I do, because I would like be so depressed if I wasn't.
Yeah.
So it's hard when you're older, meeting people and like knowing where to go, and finances too.
Yeah.
It's not a cheap economy right now.
Yeah. And that's the main thing, like, we try to do with Fremont Friday is, like, we make it free to eliminate that barrier, and then people know they can come in if they're looking to be a part of a community. This is something all they got to do is walk in and be a part of. So a lot of the stuff that we were already doing goes hand in hand with Music for Everybody, so it just made sense.
Yeah. Well, I'm super stoked about that.
Yeah,
that's really awesome. So to round this out, Emerald City Gala is coming up in like 2-3 weeks.
It is something like that, 16 days.
So it's the 4th annual. I wrote 3rd annual, but there was a 4th one.
Yeah.
So Party for a Purpose. Explain like more about that.
Okay. Yep. So
just give me the spiel.
I got you. So first thing you got to know is that the Emerald City Gala is a lifestyle. You pull up, you got to get fly, and you got to go crazy. You can't just like be in your normal box. Whatever you do, get as fly as you can, and then think, okay, how can I go extra? Can I do some makeup? Can I add some accessories? You know, I want to see people challenge themselves with their fashion. And again, I feel like that'll bring out a creative, use your body as a canvas and whatever you want to see. Like I remember Tierra Nobody last year, they had suits made of like all recyclable materials. And that was so ballin' to me.
I love that
so
band
fire,
too.
You know, I had the fur coat with the kilt, never worn a kilt before, but it was just something like, man.
It's the time to do it.
It is. At the gala, you know, wait till y'all see the hospitality's fit, man. I got a sneak peek of it. It looks crazy. So I think number one is like, come with the intention of stepping outside of your comfort zone and allowing that energy to fill your soul. And then also come with donations for those who need it most. We're taking socks, beanies, jackets, gloves, backpacks, sanitation wipes. Everything's up on the website and Instagram for people to check out. And bring those donations. We'll have a U-Haul donation on site. And that is going to go such a long way on Christmas Day to help people who genuinely, we go out there and we hand it out ourselves, and we work with the Cozy Connection team. And so you get to directly see the smile that a new coat, a new backpack, food, and all this stuff adds to a human experience for a day. And it changes the way you view Christmas. It's not what you're receiving, it's what you're able to give. And people need to know that if you support the Emerald City Gala, if you come to it and you support the cause, that you are directly contributing to somebody having a better Christmas. And even if it's just for a day or for that week, getting a reprieve of what they have going on, and that's tough in their life. And who knows, that might be the switch that gets them to that next hump for them to either, if they want to, you know, get inside, get into some of these services that are available. And, you know, that's a whole nother conversation of how do we make these services more accessible, but it might be the spark that pushes them towards something that can change their life. And that's what we're trying to do. So the gala, it's awesome. It's great to bring everybody together. We got Tezza Talks headlining the runoff stage at Madame Lou's. We got the Nomads.
I'm so
like,
excited for them.
Yeah.
I listened to them since I was like 15.
That's what I'm saying. Like, those are our boys. We've like gone on tour with them, and we told them like, bro, like the city really has love for you guys. Like, we need you to come out here and like be a part of what we got going on, you know. And I think they've been grinding out for so long, and like they play around at all these different places internationally that they're like, you know, forget it sometimes, like, yo, Seattle really got love for y'all. So I'm so pumped to have the Nomads on it. We got Novi, King Young Blood, Kevy Sings, like the list goes on and on. And it's just dope people and dope energy. So, you know, if you can make it. If you want to donate a ticket, if you want to get a hotel room, you can pull up, get a hotel room. It's just going to be good vibes, you know. So the Emerald City Gala is part of the year.
That's so sick. It's just really cool. But one last thing though, because I'm just curious, because I've been to the Crocodile, the new one once. There's hotels in there.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. You rock with the MLB, you're gonna learn something every single time.
Yeah, I didn't even. I'm like, what hotel? What are you talking about?
Yeah, they got the hotels. It's like upstairs, attached to the venue. And you can rent them even like when it's not the Emerald City Gala. Like if you see a show that you like there, you should probably like reach out to the Crocodile. And I think if you buy a hotel room, you get 2 tickets to the show anyway. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like if you got a concert and you want to just fully experience it. They got great food there.
Yeah.
And the Crocodile is really doing it big. I love the new Croc. I love the space. I love working with them. And it feels like between that and, you know, what LaFonda's doing there, what Freakout's doing there, what King Young Blood's doing there with the Black and Loud Fest, and what, you know, we're doing here with Emerald City Gala, it's like every single quarter it feels like they're doing something that's empowering local artists to use their venue as a canvas. And that's really dope. I feel like that's a much needed energy from such a high quality space.
Yeah.
And yeah, just got to give a huge shout out to the Croc and their whole like orbit, because I think they get it and they're doing their part.
Yeah, people, I think a lot of venues in Seattle need to be a little bit more open with letting us come in. You know, it's not all about like the big names. You know, like you got to create a sense of community and make people feel like they have a part in this too.
Totally.
So it's really cool that they have hotels. I really just can't get over that.
I know.
But that's smart.
Such
just because, I mean, the gala goes till like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
So you got a place to crash so you don't have to drive home.
Yeah,
so
it's a smart thing to do. You know, DM us, hit up the hospitality. He's kind of coordinating
206.
Yeah, exactly. He's the man, you know.
Hey.
And yeah, the hotel adds a different vibe. For surely. And we got the party bus too, which is really epic.
I'm so excited. I'm going, so you guys should come.
It's always a good time.
Yeah. Well, Marshall, thanks so much for coming in. This was really awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to leave like with the plug? Emerald City Gala, December 23rd.
Yeah.
Time, place.
Absolutely. So I don't know if what you got going on right now. You can pick 2 people that are watching this right now. Y'all can tag us or something. Say you want the tickets. Claim the tickets somehow, some way. We'll put it in the description.
Hey, yeah.
We'll give out 2 tickets for the Emerald City Gala right here, right now for you. And we got a lot of other things in store for 2024, but you know we want to finish off 2023 right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna use the gala as a platform to help those who need it most. And even if you can't come to the event, get involved with the cause. Really encourage any and everybody to come out on Christmas Day. And just donate, 3 hours of your time, 2 hours of your time, and experience it, because, a lot of us are extremely blessed just to have a house, just to consistently have food, just to have clothes. So when you take that perspective and add that gratitude into your daily life, it makes you realize that this stuff is important, but it's really not that serious. And if we can slow down a little bit and show that type of love to each other as just humans and get that connection back, that's when our passions are going to feel more aligned, and you're going to feel less stressed and stop putting the weight of the world on your shoulders. And that's really helped for me to slow down, and I want to continue to use my passion and my friends' collective passions to make an impact. And I think we're going to do that with the gala, and then we're going to continue to do that from infinity and beyond.
Yeah. 2024 is going to be an exciting year.
It is. It's going to be crazy politically. So everybody buckle up.
God, don't even remind me.
Everybody buckle up.
I'm trying to not remember that. Well, Marshall, thank you so much for coming in. This was awesome. I'm Natalie Melendez. That's 206 Sound Podcast. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.